They're blowing up our debt by giving tax cuts to the wealthy who do not consider us humans. They consider us as like replaceable widget. In Florida, they've got the alligator Alcatraz, and that's going to cost $450 million or something.
Alligator Alcatraz is an embarrassing name. They're selling merch. What? Who the is buying concentration camp merch?
How do you exist as a human in terms of like you have no empathy, you don't care about other people, you just don't even consider the well-being of others?
Even if you don't care about other people, the economic impact of all of this makes no sense. All these people that came here, they work, they pay taxes, like they're providing value to the rest of us. And instead of that, we're getting something from them. We're doing the opposite. We're paying to incarcerate them, which costs us money and gives us nothing.
One major fire that's happening right now is the big, beautiful bill, which I think you could probably call like the big, ugly trash bill. As it stands right now, it went to the House. It barely passed.
Wasn't it one vote?
It was one vote. It was 215 to 214, and then it just went through the vote-a-rama, is what it is. And they barely got it by 51-50 with, of course, J.D. Vance being the tie-breaking vote. So when you picture millions of Americans losing health care, subsidies, becoming even more poor because they don't have the same tax incentives, remember that it's J.D. Vance and his eyeliner that is the cause of that. And it's now been sent back to the House, so now it's going to go through another set of revisions.
I hate everything in this bill. Like, there's nothing good in it. But the thing that I think makes me the angriest is all the funding for ICE, because they're doing... I mean, we have a genocide on our soil is basically what's happening. Like, people are dying in these prisons. They are torturing people. They aren't giving them food. They aren't giving them water. And giving them more money gives them the ability to do this to more people. It is human rights violation. It's disgusting. Like, I don't agree with anything in the bill, but the situation with the concentration camps in the U.S. is already so unacceptable. And the fact that they're going to take our tax dollars and give it to them to do more of this just keeps me up at night. It makes me sick. I can't stand it.
And not only that, but I mean, it just like shines a light again on the utter hypocrisy of the Republican Party to be like, oh, we don't want to spend more money. We want to cut this and cut that. And then you find out that in, the state of Florida, they've got the alligator Alcatraz that's down there, and that's going to cost $450 million or something to that extent.
Speaking of terrible names,
Alligator Auschwitz has also been a nickname it's picked up,
yes,
which seems more correct.
That is more correct.
Because it's a concentration camp.
It's a concentration camp. Contact your congressperson. Please bother them. Tell them to vote against it. Call them constantly. They work for us. The majority of people did not vote for this. It is up. It's disgusting. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there stuff in there about potentially not having a midterm election?
There's a lot of stuff that is creeped in that people haven't read. Like, there was the whole AI thing.
Yes, the AI thing.
There's all these other things.
I think the AI thing got taken out.
Yeah. But like originally went through the House, and then it wasn't until it got to the Senate, and then people started being like, what's actually in this like big, beautiful bill? And then you find all these things that are in many ways anti-American. It wasn't until people started bringing them up on podcast or on, that was getting more attention in the news. And then people were like, oh my God, what's in this thing? And it's like, you had all this time, you wrote it, and now you're playing dumb that you don't know what's in it.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, her whole thing being like, I didn't know about this AI part. Right. She was like, I didn't read that part. I'm like, well, bitch, don't vote on
Right.
Like, that's your job.
And this is after they had voted for it through the House the first time. And again, it's multiple things. Like, I think the biggest thing too from that bill is I'm looking at a chart right now, and the way it is showing is, as it's written, the bill of how much will be added to the debt is an exorbitant amount beyond what was given during COVID. And so it's like, again, you come back to this Republican Party saying that they want to cut this and be more efficient with that, and they want to save money here, but at the same time, they're blowing up our debt by giving tax cuts to the wealthy people who do not consider us humans, but they consider us as like a mere like replaceable widget in like a cog of a large machine. Lisa Murkowski, who's the senator from Alaska, some of these people, were trying to cut deals behind the closed doors, and one of them was having removal of work requirements for Alaska when it comes to Medicaid. That came to light. The parliamentarian was basically like, that's illegal. We're not having these like shady deals to say, in order for you to vote a certain way in favor of the bill, we'll remove this for just your state. And then after they voted and just passed 51-50, she told reporters that she wants the House to send the bill back to the Senate to continue work that she voted on. My hope is that the House is going to look at this and recognize that we're not there yet. And then asked why she voted for the bill if it still needs work. She says voting against the bill would have killed it. Good. And then she says, kill it and it's gone. There is a tax impact coming forward that's going to hurt the people in my state.
No.
Then why did you even vote for it? Because you're weak, because you're a coward, because you gave in to Donald Trump and are unwilling to have a spine and like actually show face. All of these things are going to be inherently more expensive. The value of the dollar just went down, especially when there was announced that they were going to introduce some replacement for Jerome Powell once his term is done that's going to be more MAGA friendly. All of these things are clearly being indicators that, you know, the source of income that you receive is actually valued less now. It's gone down. All of these things, in addition to this bill, is going to have a negative impact on everyone's lives. And it doesn't do any good, despite the fact that, you know, they campaigned and cheered and rallied that only the Republican Party can fix the financial doom and gloom that Biden set. Jerome Powell also said that if it weren't for the tariffs, the tax rates would have been cut by now. But because of the tariffs, they're like, we're not going to do this.
The interest rate, you mean?
Yeah. And cut the interest rate. And so, like, that would directly impact people's affording of homes, loans. It's just like all the like small businesses. It has a trickle-down domino effect on everyone's lives, whether you're starting a business, running a business, just trying to exist in this hellscape.
Alligator Alcatraz, obviously, it's horrific to have concentration camps, period. That is what it is. Hot take, I don't like concentration camps. It is even more horrifying to be building them on American land. Alligator Alcatraz is an embarrassing name. You are a child. What are you talking about? They're selling merch. What? Who the is buying
They're also posting
concentration camp merch?
They're also posting AI images of alligators wearing ice hats.
It's embarrassing behavior. Also, the land that it is being built on, obviously all of America is stolen land, but specifically this land, it's surrounded by 2 tribes.
Yeah.
And it's their sacred ceremonial land, and the land that the camp is being built on, DeSantis took it. He put some like special order in and was like, oh, no, we have to have this, which is like a horrifying thing that happens to native land constantly and still obviously to this day. Like, and it's so fucked up. He's just like, no, we need this. And now this land that is sacred to these people is going to be used to commit atrocities. Like, it's disgusting.
And the wildlife as well. Like, this is their habitat and it's being destroyed, and he's like so interested in naming this thing after the alligators whose habitat he's destroying, and alligators are also gonna suffer because their habitat is being disturbed along with all the other wildlife that lives there.
To Meredith's point earlier where you're talking about like adding billions of dollars to ICE's budget, the other thing here is like the irony of like saying that you want to, you know, save money or whatever, and then you're spending billions of dollars to give to these people while also cutting resources like FEMA. So Florida, which is a hurricane just ridden state up and down the coast, not only that, but like 100+ degree humidity, you're going to put people in these concentration camps where not only is it going to be unbearable conditions, but now if there were, you know, say a hurricane that came through there, FEMA doesn't have the funds. So it's like we can spend millions, if not billions on these things, but we can't give funding for FEMA to rebuild towns in North Carolina and Florida and other states like this because, we're spending too much. But then we spend, again, millions, if not billions, on all these other things to punish people for the sake of cruelty, because that's what it is to them.
Yeah.
They get off on this and they're like, oh, this is so great. This is so funny, isn't it? It's like, what kind of human are you?
It's so weird. I don't understand being just like, oh yeah, this is so sick, we're gonna torture people. Like when they were doing that tour of it with Steve Doocy, that whole thing, I was like, you have this like, they're like, wow, and look at where they're gonna be living, and they're showing like fenced off bunks. I'm just like, who thinks this is good? My summer camp conditions were better than this. Like, what are you talking about? This is like this is horrible.
Fascist Nazis, they're not innovative. They do the same thing, same tactics, same way to like torture people. And here we are in America, the country that literally fought as anti-fascists, and now we're like, That's our thing now.
Right now, what they are planning on doing with these camps is horrifying. But if you think it's not going to get worse, even like a month or two down the line, because they're just going to keep pushing that marker and keep being like, oh, it's a little bit worse. Oh, it's a little bit worse. We're doing something more horrifying. And it's like, oh, well, I wasn't mad about the last thing, so I guess this new thing, like, oh, it's pretty bad. They're going to desensitize us to what horrible things they are going to do at these camps. Like, it is disgusting. Yeah. I cannot believe they exist, period. I cannot believe. And Trump announced this morning that he's planning on building them in other states as well.
Whenever someone's like, oh, you're just being, hyperbolic, or you're just like overreacting, it's another thing where it's like, we told you. It was like, even when Roe v. Wade was overturned, right? We said, this is the first thing, and it's going to be same-sex couples. It's going to be interracial couples. It's going to be this and this. And, like, they're pushing the envelope every way they can to be like, all right, great. This is precedent. We now have this camp here in Florida. We're going to put a camp in Texas where it's, like, in the middle of, like, the desert. We're going to put this in unbearable conditions. We're going to put it in, in the freezing cold in Alaska, like, wherever it might be. They're going to do it as a means of punishing. And then you've got Tom Homan, who is confronted by a reporter just yesterday that said, did you hear, or what is your response to the 70-year-old Cuban who lived in here for 6 decades? And he's like, oh, well, people die. People die in prison. People die in ICE. And I was like, what? That should not be acceptable.
That should not be the answer.
Because here's the thing. If he was never taken into, detained, if he was never held against his will, if he was never even hunted by ICE, then he would still be alive.
Come the on. Yeah. Even if you are a person who is like, I want no immigrants in America ever, like, that is your hard stance. Okay, fine. That's what you think. You think they deserve to die because of it? That punishment doesn't match the crime. Like, even if you believe that that is a crime, a horrible crime, come on.
Yeah.
The right wing in this country has just become a death cult, because for Homan to say, oh, people die, is an echo of what Joni Ernst, the senator from Iowa, I believe, just said a few weeks ago when her constituents were saying that their bill was going to kill people. Her response was the same thing: people die. And that seems to be the Republican response to every time someone calls them out on the fact that they are quite literally killing people. Yeah. And their response is like, everyone dies. Like, yeah, sure, everyone dies, but we hope it's like when they're old, of natural causes, not because you murder them.
How do you exist as a human in terms of, like, you have no empathy, you don't care about other people, you just don't even consider the well-being of others, regardless of their status legally here or not? Elon and Steve Bannon and Donald Trump are this, like, we've come to this point where all three of them are fighting each other, or more or less Steve Bannon and Donald Trump are fighting Elon, and Elon's trying to fight back because of this big, beautiful bill. He was like, if this passes, I'm going to start a new America party. And now Donald Trump, because God forbid you criticize, Donald Trump is now looking to deport. He's like, oh, that Doge thing, it's going to eat him up. It looking like it's going to come after him, and we might have to deport Elon Musk, which I'm like, cool. But also at the same time, I'm like, Elon is now serving as, like, the better of two evils in terms of fighting Republicans and possibly knocking some sense into them in terms of saying, like, if they vote for the bill, then he will primary them with someone else, or he'll fund someone's campaign regardless of them being Republican or Democrat.
Steal.
I think he's a demon too, but he's just mad because it's going to affect his government contracts. Right. It's nothing to do with him caring about people. Yeah. The callousness of other people is really what just keeps me up at night. It disturbs me in a way I can't even articulate. To not care about hurting other people at all and to be fine with it, like, I can't even understand it. Even if you don't care about other people, the economic impact of all of this makes no goddamn sense. Like, all these people that came here to be American, that's what their goal is. Mm-hmm. They work, they pay taxes, like, they're providing value to the rest of us. And instead of that, we're getting something from them. We're doing the opposite. We're paying to incarcerate them, which costs us money and gives us nothing.
Right.
Why would we want to do that? Like, why wouldn't we rather just have, like, if you come here and you work and you contribute and you're law abiding, like, a pathway to citizenship because you're providing value to the rest of us and we want that.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. You can't have economic growth while shrinking your population.
Exactly.
If your goal is economic growth, you actually want more people that are contributing to the GDP, which is what immigrants do.
Right. I mean, like, in 2022, they contributed nearly $100 billion. Like, this is a lot of, Republicans are just uneducated people, don't realize that undocumented migrants who live here and work here are contributing to the economy, not only from the labor that they produce, but also the money they pay. It's not like they're just like all under the table, cash payments.
They spend money as well.
Yeah,
I mean, they
right.
pay taxes and they
Yeah.
spend money. They create economic activity. I believe it was Ohio. They had a big Haitian population move in, and it really economically revitalized the town.
Springfield, Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like these people benefited from people moving to their town and creating economic activity and creating consumer demand and paying taxes and doing jobs. And it's a lot of these rural places in the U.S., like the reason they're in such bad shape is because there's no one there.
Right.
You should want people to come because they'll do things for your community that you want.
I mean, it's because, if people don't know, you've got Governor DeWine who said, please come. We welcome you to help us rebuild parts of Ohio, because all of these Midwestern and in Midwest, like Eastern towns, cities in these states, were all manufacturing, right? So it was like the auto industry, meat, this and that. Like all of these places ended up getting outsourced because of Republican lawmakers, and they shipped them overseas because they said, oh, well, if we can give these tax breaks, or if we can help out these billion-dollar corporations to make more money by cutting labor and cutting funding and things like this, that's why these states are in the state that they are. And so when you've got even a Republican governor, Governor DeWine, says to people in Ohio, like, hey, accept them, welcome here, and we'll bring back. And they revitalized communities. And then you had Donald Trump and the rest of MAGA being like, oh, they're eating the cats and the dogs, and now, revoking their status of being here in America. And it's like, that's over 500,000 people that is being removed from this list of protected status because you guys are pursuing this bigoted Nazi regime of saying that everyone should look like Stephen Miller.
No one should want to look Stephen Miller.
Hideous,
He's an ugly person.
disgusting man.
But also, like, people want to talk about how LA is this hellscape. It's people who've never been to LA. LA is my favorite place in the world. If I had like all the money in the world and could do whatever I want, I'd live here. I love LA so much. It's so great. But part of why California is so successful and LA is so successful and we all love it here so much and it's such a nice place is because it's diverse. We have a huge immigrant population. We have a lot of people here and they all contribute, and it's what makes our city great and it's what makes our state great. And all these people who have never been here, who have dying towns with no one in them, are like, oh, everything over there is terrible. It's not. It's so great. If you came here, you would be so mad at how good it is.
Yeah,
and you should want what we have.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I love about LA is like all the different neighborhoods in various parts of the city or the county even. I mean, the state of California is great because, like, obviously you can have access to like all 4 seasons at different times and in the same day. But in LA, like, there's such like a rich culture and story and history that comes with each person that comes from these countries. And like someone who recently highlighted that, I think almost like perfectly, was Diego Luna. He guest hosted on Jimmy Kimmel and used it, even his first night, I mean, all 4 nights, he used a way to platform Latinas and also the struggle that's happening within LA community in terms of like immigration and these like Gestapo style level, just kidnappings off the street. But the first night he gave this like 12-minute monologue that talked about like, I'm not from here. I'm from Mexico, and I came here as an actor, and it was this community here in LA that welcomed me. And everyone has different stories and different ideas of what they want to pursue and different cultures, and it all mixed to this beautiful melting pot that is LA. All the food that you get, all the artwork that you see, like that's not from white people. It's from all these other places of people who come here to pursue a better life. On Jimmy Kimmel's show last week, they just mocked MAGA, mocked Trump, made fun of them, did sketches, opening monologues, guests making fun of them. At the end of his show, he was like, I hope that you've all like learned something. We use comedy as a means of mocking them and exposing them. And by making fun of them, they become weak and we become powerful. And I thought I was like, that is a great message. And I know, again, we've talked about that, and that's why we do what we do. That is what we should do more of, having artists speak out and like call attention to this stuff.
Yeah, it's important, and I'm glad that people are speaking out about it. I feel like America, we are known for being loud and obnoxious, and I think, hell yeah, let's be loud and obnoxious. That is who we are as people, and we're not going to go down quietly.
Yeah.
Like, this was the wrong country to try to do this in, so let's not let it happen.
Yeah, when people ask about like what can we do? There's many things you can do, and we've made other episodes talking about things you can do. But even just like, don't normalize this. The thing that makes me the most miserable and crazy, other than, you know, obviously the atrocities themselves, are people that aren't disturbed by them, that think, you know, it's just business as usual, that things are fine, that they're minimizing it. Don't do that. Like, it's terrible, it's disturbing, it's horrific, and everyone should be saying so, because we need to like keep each other sane, and part of keeping each other sane is just like acknowledging what we're all seeing and experiencing, and like telling other people like the way you feel about it's valid, because it is.
And let's jump into another stupid thing that someone said to us. This one, it's from Design Nelson. I think this was on the video. We made a video recently that was basically, Ansley and I were like, we should deport all men. And it's, you know, the video's ridiculous because we should not deport all men. And obviously it was being compared to people being like, we should deport all Mexicans or all immigrants, whatever. And, you know, a lot of people didn't get that. Big surprise. And
but we knew that. We knew that going in. We were
100%.
People are going to get confused.
Well, we wanted to put them in the position of agreeing with us.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a trap. Like, if you are disagreeing with the characters in the sketch and you're saying like, well, you shouldn't deport all the men, some of them aren't criminals. That's our point.
Exactly. Thank you. And Design Nelson was, you know, one of those people. He says, personally, I'm getting so tired of women's attitudes. I would like to live in a woman-free environment. And then maybe we wouldn't be rated and told how stupid we are all the time, even though we're the ones that pay for 90% of their life.
90%?
90%.
I do not pay for 90% of my wife's life or your lives.
Aren't more women...
Gabe, you owe us some money.
I guess so.
Aren't more women going to college and having careers and out earning
We are out earning men. Like, a lot of women are... supporting themselves, and we don't want anything to do with men, and this is what's like getting them all riled up about this, is they're like, oh, well, we have to support you. It's like, no, there's a loneliness epidemic that is your own making, but a loneliness epidemic because we don't need you. We can have credit cards now, we can own land, like we do not need a man.
Start a family.
We can do whatever the we want. We don't need you. So that's whatever. I would like to live in a woman-free environment. Congratulations, you probably do. I can't imagine you have any in your life. And here's a positive review that we got. This is on the Delve deck. It's from Mindy. She gave it 5 stars. Great gift. My friends are going on an epic road trip this summer, and I got them a Delve deck to take along for the ride. This is the message I got. Oh my God, just opened your present and I love it so much. I'm in this awful day-long admin meeting and we're on a break. I just opened the Delve deck and started to read the questions aloud. Everyone loves them. It's going to be our new family question box. Such good questions. I think these are going to be my go-to gifts from now on. And yeah, they're great for a road trip.
Yeah.
Great way to pass the time. Great for anything, but I feel like, you know, we're in summer. People are going to be going on vacation. You might be taking a road trip. You might be doing a long flight.
I'm going camping in a couple weeks, so I'm definitely bringing these with me.
Yeah, camping is a great place to take them. Like, this is, you know, exactly. Great for that. Or if you're doing water activities, we got the beach balls.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. When we made these products, we have been doing question of the day for a few years when we finally decided to do these. And because we've been doing question of the day, we had already written like so many questions, but we also knew which questions people were most interested in answering and which were sparking the most conversation. So we could go back through our history of question of the day and figure out which questions do people like the most and curate that for these products so that we could be sure that people would actually like want to play with these. And it's gone great. I love playing with them.
Yeah.
Our friends have really liked them.
I've played this with my wife, and we've had moments where we like all of a sudden have like flashbacks to things when we're talking about it, of like things from our childhood, depending on what the question is. And we're like, oh my God, I would not have thought about that unless I was prompted with a question like this. With that in mind, we're going to do for the portion of the podcast, we're going to ask each other a question from each of the regular, Joy, and the venting edition. So I think Tess is going to go first for the audio listeners.
Start with some venting. Do we want to just do like a dark vent?
All right.
We can do it.
Let's get mad, guys. Okay, how about what's the worst advice you've ever received? So I've received this advice. Some guy I'd maybe met once in my life, who I'm distantly related to, and he's asking about what I do, and I'm telling him, and he was like, you know what you should do? You should just open for Ellen. Like you should just like get on Ellen. And
let me get right on that.
I was like, yeah, oh my god, I never thought about, oh my god, Ellen. Wow, that's a genius idea. Why don't I just do that?
I think I was told as a kid, don't do something creative professionally. And I didn't early in my adulthood. I did something boring and high paying and terrible that I hated. I worked in tech, and I eventually, left, and now I do this. But I think that people say that because doing creative work and making a real living at it, it is hard. But I think that some people are meant to do it. And I, was writing tons from the time I was a little kid, and I loved writing, from an early age. And now I get to write professionally, and it's what I think I was meant to do in life. And so I wish that people had not been like, well, there's no possible way you could write professionally. And like, lots of people write professionally.
Yeah. Like there's also
and now I
different
do.
forms of writing professionally. It could be comedic, it could be serious, it could be what you write obituaries for all I care. Like that's technically writing professionally. I mean, I went to school for business, ended up doing tech, it was a programmer and doing sales, and then I eventually got into a creative role, and then now I do acting and comedy full time. But like a very roundabout way from how it started when I was a kid, where I was like, I want to like perform, and then my parents being like, maybe not, I guess that was bad advice. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I feel
Mom.
like, parents were like, and I understand, like, similarly where my parents came from, where they're like, we're not rich, girl. Like, we're not going to be able to.
There's no safety net if
there's
you,
no
like, don't make
safety
it.
net, so, like, figure it out.
I mean, it's like they say in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Yeah.
So it's like eventually the creativity will find a way to get out, like either an explosion or whatever. But
You're going to go crazy.
yeah, you're like just pent up, and you're like, the creative forces.
I think the better advice to give creative young people if they want a creative career is that you need to have like a level of hustle that is not most people do not have.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that think they want creative careers, but they probably should keep it as a hobby. They don't have the other piece, which is like you have to be willing to work so hard to make it happen. You have to be willing to do stuff you don't really want to do. I don't mean unethical stuff. I just mean like hard stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I have to deal with things like, regulations and taxes and HR and like to run Boardwalk. And these aren't things I want to do or that I enjoy, but to have the career I want, I have to do those things. And I think every successful creative person has to deal with the business side of being a creative person, and that stuff is not fun for creative people.
Yeah.
So I think the better advice is just, if that's really what you want, you need to know going in, you're going to have to be willing to do stuff you don't enjoy doing. You're going to have to be willing to work way harder than people that, take an office job where it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
Whereas like creative career is not easy.
I guess one piece of advice on that would be like, go find someone in the field that you maybe want to pursue, and either as a mentor or a shadow, just like observe, fly in the wall and be like, what does a day in the life of this look like? Of like, it's not all like creative stuff, because there's the, every run of the mill kind of thing where you're like, all right, I got to file this and do that. But like, I feel like that's also a good thing to do, is like, if you want to get a taste of it before going, head first into it, just like get an idea.
Yeah. I mean, when I talk to young people now, like I have friends that have kids that want to do something creative, and that's what I tell them, like, you can, but just know it's going to be very hard to make work, and you're going to have to be willing to work so much harder than you would have to work if you were going to do something that's like easy.
Right.
Not all jobs are hard in their own way, but like
instead of going
working,
to a company
working
and, like,
in
plugging
an
in
office.
somewhere,
Yeah.
Right. It's like that job can be replaced by someone else, but if you are doing this on your own, then you're doing all of it.
The question I picked is, what did you regularly eat as a kid that you wouldn't touch now?
The first thing that came to my mind that I used to do a lot as a snack is I would take a tortilla and then I would cover it in butter.
Put cinnamon on it?
No, that would be great. I guess it's like not too weird. And then I would slice up apples and put apples in it. And then I would take like a spoonful of sugar and just like dump it in there and roll it up.
Sort of a ratchet apple pie is what you're describing.
Like, we're not cooking the apples.
No, it was just sliced apples, probably not sliced well because I was like pretty young when I would eat this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd grab the like apple core, we had one of those, slice it down, put all those slices in. Yeah, a ratchet apple pie is the best way to describe what the I was eating.
It's like a Temu version of like a McDonald's apple pie.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. I always have been like, I don't know what the I was doing, but it was an apple pie, guys.
Yeah. I used to eat tuna fish sandwiches, like tuna sandwiches, a lot as a kid. But then at some point growing up, I just stopped eating mayo. And mayo is like a key ingredient of that. And I don't know, maybe after like 4th grade, I want to say, I just stopped eating it. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I see it on the menu, and I go, I don't need that. I don't want that.
My answer is rice cakes. I had an almond mom. We've talked about almond moms around here before.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so almond mom was like, oh, you want lunch? Like, have a rice cake.
Yeah.
Never again. Not as an adult. No, thank you.
Man.
No,
Sometimes
rice cakes were my go-to eating disorder food.
Same.
I mean, if you had a bunch of like packing peanuts and styrofoam in a package, I probably could not identify the difference between the rice cake and the styrofoam. I'm reading from the Joy Edition Delve Deck, and it's, what is a quality in others that you admire?
Patience for others. There's this guy on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can persuade him to join us as a guest on an upcoming episode called Andrew JD. And he
Yeah, he follows me on Instagram now.
The MAGA people. And the patience he has for trying to reason with them. Pete Buttigieg is like this too.
Yeah.
I admire it so much. I don't have it. And so I just don't have that ability. I would lose my temper and leave. But I don't really like arguing with people. I would rather just not engage at all. Yeah. But I see them do it, and I'm like, that's like a magic trick. That's so impressive, and what you do is so important, and the world needs it, and it's not something I could ever do.
I'm very impressed by people who are good at networking. It is not something that I'm good at. It like gives schmoozing? Me, yeah. And I know that like people will be like, well, I don't like doing it either. And I'm like, that's fine. But like the fact that you're still capable of doing it is so impressive to me.
I think having empathy, I think, is like a core foundational important quality that I admire in other people, because then it also tells me that person is a good person. Like I haven't met anyone that's been like empathetic that's been a really good person, you know? It's always been the opposite of that, where I'm like, don't like the vibes here, I'm going to go, you know?
I was going to propose a would you rather. Would you rather network with people or try to reason with somebody that disagrees with you politically?
Oh. God, network.
I would much rather network. At least I can have a conversation going with that one. And maybe other people in the circle will like chime in. But one-on-one, or like one in terms of many.
At least networking. I'm like, at worst case scenario, we have a really awkward small talk conversation and neither of us likes it. There's no positive. I cannot reason with people. I'm so bad at it, especially if I'm feeling fired up about something. Like I don't have any chill.
This has been another episode of the Boardwalk Podcast, and if you would like to get one of these 3 or even the Beach Ball Edition Delve Deck, you can go to boardwalk.com. And with that, we'll see you later, you gregarious gophers.